I was called away, and now I'm back. And for you, it was just the end of one video ending and wondering if there would be continuance to the next. And this is my effort to make a summary to what I began talking about. And we were on a glimpse of the future. See, the future, ideal Pilates is what it is. And when you can embrace the ideal nature of Pilates for what it is, and then take that somewhere, right? That's what we all like to do. And a glimpse of the future, I think, is where the epitome of aristocratic elite recognize there's a need for, not a need for, recognize, not recognize, because many have recognized, acknowledge the ideal for the sake of the advantages it gives you rather than the disadvantages you see in it. So number 5, prepare for your ideal student. So in this case, my ideal student would want to take their training manual and put in it whatever they wanted in terms of text. But if they were licensing my images to do that, I'd want them to be aware that those images are rooted in totally classical and expressed ideally as possible. That's a good way, I think, of putting that. So, I think it would be embarrassing to try to hold an air about your superiority in the culture based on who you are and who you know or who you knew. Even more tragic and painful is the transference of focus from the oldest living connection to Joseph Pilates. Not oldest, maybe deepest. In whatever regard, though, the glimpse of the future will be, in my opinion, the tsunami of Pilates passion, causing an expansion of the awareness of the ideal nature within Joe's work. Ideal Pilates. MMP is ideal Pilates. For good or for bad, but that's an easy explanation of what it is. So years ago, years and years ago, people were ripping me off using my stuff to make manuals. Mostly in third world countries because it's too expensive to have it make a difference. And it's too much like WordStar as a software program at a point in time in the industry. But a more formal usage, especially within the EU and the United States and Indonesia, an awareness of the ideal and the brand and the pictures that are a reflection of that point of view, because it's my point of view and I took all those pictures. And I'd also want to give credit to anybody else that's in the pictures, especially Sandra Murphy, who did most of my still work with me. Which is what's the basis of most manuals. So see, someday I think you'll be able to license Michael Miller Pilates pictures to put in your manual much easier than it is now. But it won't be uncommon at all to want to use the set of pictures that are closest to the ideal, taken by the ideal's founder's point of view. Of course, again, with Sandra's help. And really, if you want to know the truth, in the beginning of our experience of taking all those pictures, I was the one begging for another take, taking the same picture again, because it just wasn't quite enough, right? And when I had it set up so it was on a big screen that both of us could look at immediately after having taken the picture, or the sequence of shots, or the video, or whatever, but immediate review. And really, before long, Sandra deserves an editing credit as much as a talent credit, easily, because she became as focused as I felt, and was willing to press it even further to, let's do it one more time. Let's take another shot. Just simple stuff. And it doesn't look like much among the, I was going to say the body of work, until you look at the body of work. And that's why being able to license pictures that represent exercises on equipment or not, mat, that you can license the use of to make your own manuals with, allows you to tap into those times when Sandra and I would look and say, no, let's do one more, or better there, or this, right? So that was number 6, I think I covered. I don't know, I titled it, but that's imagining your manuals with pictures that you license from me. And what that means is a very involved kind of, it's a big tapestry, but in looking at the conditions and the options, and it helps you focus on what you want to do with your manual. It allows you to plan for expansion of whatever you plan to do with it. So, my summary statement. This was a Monday, and the big thing was this whole thing about using my pictures in someone's training manuals. Earlier on Saturday, people only want to know what's there. No, people only want to know what they want to know. They only want to know what's new or exciting or valuable or educational or experiential or sexual or is musical, or is appearance with makeup, or mood altering, or pain relieving in the way of medicines. I think with that comment I was trying to point to how the human being is one big filtering mechanism. and it filters out what it doesn't want to pay attention to. For me, a grand thing about doing Pilates and then sharing that in that someone else is doing is how much you let it in to filter everything else out. Meaning the performance of the method, the routine of the performance is striking a tuning fork, and then that vibration lasts for a while until it's time to come back to Pilates and strike the tuning fork again, because at least it's conditional. The condition seems to diminish over time and easily viewable as vibrational, right? Like in the tuning fork. There's a title in here called Let's Talk About the Order, and honestly I was overwhelmed with other stuff. And okay, why? I'm interested in adding 2 and 2 in the monetary world to make money, and part of the way I do this, or it will be done, continue to be done after I can do it personally, is through licensing. And if you want to license the images, that's a cool thing. And I'll end with this. Okay, see if I can remember this. The French director and an attitude toward the images. Actually, I can say this, right? In Paris, at a luncheon, to discuss the creation of a Pilates video, a credited film director intended on just hiring French models as actors in the Pilates movie. Now, if you're with me on this, you know, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're not aware of what you're doing and what you're trying, if you're not aware of the choreography, if you're not aware of the means of movement, you don't know how to do Pilates, you're not just going to. Take someone that's adaptable in your world of film, like French models, and assume it would translate to an environment like Pilates performance, which of course it doesn't and can't. I think I ought to have a new program called Let's Be a Snob, and have it just be full of opinionated stuff that's so easy to indulge in that it gets in the way of, to me, more important perspective that will help you survive as a Pilates instructor and certainly help your students from the quality of the experience they get from studying with you. So for another time maybe, but let's talk about the order of the exercises. And why we seek level. Why is level a good thing? So in the background, there up on top of this poster is a level. The little thing that you tilt this way and it determines level, indicates level. I'm just making note that it's a gravity thing, right? And that we sleep when we are level because it's the least amount of blood pressure that needs to happen for the body to rest and recuperate. Meaning it's very hard to actually sleep standing on your feet. I know that of the dancing Wulu masters, and I know of GIs in battle. But my point is, the reason most of us lie down flat in gravity, the reason I have a car that lets me lie down flat to rest when I'm driving on a road trip, is because there's nothing else like being flat to get rest, or maybe to get release, right? To be at ease. Okay. Thanks for listening, and I'm sorry it was tied together in 2 different recordings. But you know how life is. Unexpected comes up, and life can't live forever. Read between the lines. See behind the curtain. Add 2 and 2. Direct your thinking, and Geist